Hello my beautiful ladies, this is Peaceful Paradise 7. Today I want to discuss the fact that during dating, it's like a honeymoon phase. Everything is perfect, you're all doing what you can to impress one another, and then once you're gonna start living together, either you decided to do it before the marriage or after marriage, the way we did it, you're gonna experience completely different reality. And I want to give you 7 different techniques that you can use in order to thrive, to feel more romance, to just be more happy in your relationship. So please stay with me, subscribe, comment below, and let me know what you guys think about this topic. So the first one is stop being shocked by conflict. And that was a hard one for me because I kind of lived in that honeymoon phase for a bit too long. So when the conflict arose, I couldn't really deal with it as a mature adult. I was just like, I wanted to cry. I was a bit like, maybe it wasn't a good decision, and maybe we're not compatible. And of course, like some sort of thoughts will always go through your mind, but that doesn't mean that the actual choice wasn't right. I want you to pat yourself and just say it's fine, just because there is a conflict, there is a drama. You need to understand and really understand that the way you've been raised was completely different, that now you need to share your entire life, your energy, your you need to share every single moment, and this is very intimate as well. Not everybody will cope with it straight away, and not everyone will know how to deal with that. Some people just don't, and especially men, they need their own safe space. We are more, we want to connect, we want to talk to people, we want to know what's wrong with people, and men are not like this. So if you are in like a normal sort of, well, I'm saying normal, but I know some men are more feminine than the others, and that's fine. If you're a bit more on the masculine side, then you're good. But I'm talking about general, like I'm kind of generalizing everyone, and I'm saying that men usually, they don't really talk about their emotions, they usually shut down, they're not as open and vulnerable and honest as we are, because sometimes they just don't understand, they don't know what they're feeling, like what feeling you're talking about. They don't. When you've been raised in completely different houses, some houses people were more invited to be open and honest and share your emotion and how you feel and what you experience, and in some other house people were just shut down as kids and they never learn. So for example, me, we never talked about our emotions, we never talked about how certain situations changed me, and not all of them were very positive. My parents were, my father always said like, children and fishes do not talk. That was my sort of growing up experience. My mom was slightly better, but she also had the moment when I just couldn't talk to anyone when it comes to my family, because nobody really wanted to listen. And in my previous life, as I call it, I had to be very strong outside. I couldn't cry, I couldn't talk about how I feel. When I shut down like a man, and I just couldn't open up, like I didn't know what's going on with me. So I have a lot of understanding towards men, because they sort of want to say but they don't know how, and I've been there. And because I've done a lot of work inside me, and it took me years and years to be able to be vulnerable and open and understand what am I feeling right now, then that helped me to go to the next level. And now I am able to do it towards other people, but I also want them to do this to me. But that takes time and that takes patience. Just stop dramatizing about the fact that there is a conflict. Let's just think about how we can resolve it. The second thing that I really want you to do, the second technique, is regulate your body before you react. I'm not saying this is an easy one, and none of the things that I'm giving you are easy. It takes time, it takes commitment. It takes commitment on your end, because you're probably the only one who's gonna do it, but you both gonna see results. So unfortunately, this heavy lifting is on you, girl, but I'm hoping that this will give you a lot of pleasure in the long run. So ask yourself whether you respond from your own wounded experience, from your own childhood drama. Since I knew how to understand my feelings and emotions, I became better about the fact that some situation happened in the past, and one simple thing could trigger me so much. Maybe it wasn't even my husband's fault, but he just said something and that triggered me, and I wanted to explode, or I wanted to cry, or I wanted to go away. And We have to realize that some things, yes, they are irritating, some things are not really how we want them to be, but sometimes the fact that he is the one that he's closest to you, he will trigger something in you. In a lot of books, you will find that this is a good thing, because if there are certain emotions in you that needs to be sort of fixed, that needs to be lived through, that needs to be understood, then he is the one who's gonna trigger that. Rather than just, you know, exploding and putting everything like, this is your fault, maybe think about your past and think about how you're feeling and where do you feel the emotions in your body. And trust me, that will help you to figure things out. And sometimes you'll realize, gosh, like this is not him, it's just like, you know, something happened in my past that triggered that reaction. And he's not even guilty about that, like nothing to do with him, okay? That's how it is sometimes. And also when you stay calm, you have power. And I'm not talking about power over somebody, you have power over yourself. So when you talk from the place of power. When you listen from the place of power. And when you want to discuss something, he will react different, because even when he got angry, and even if he's gonna raise his voice, the first thing you do is raising your voice, then he stopped listening, okay? In that moment, it's like defense mode activated. I'm gonna be defending myself. You're gonna fight hard, and then you're gonna realize what we've been even fighting about. It's just this defense response. So if you stay calm throughout the entire situation, no matter how hard it is, then you are the one to win, because you will not say something that's too hurtful. You will not regret your wordings, your actions, your decisions. Stay calm, because this is your emotional intelligence, and use it wisely. Thing number 3 is to separate your discomfort from disrespect. And your discomfort doesn't always mean that he's being disrespectful, okay? 2 slightly different things. Some things can be not really like you're just feeling unease about them, but that doesn't mean that he's crossing the line. That means that you need to do some sort of work in order to accept what you are feeling right now. For example, I felt a big discomfort when we were in the middle of heated discussion and my husband would just walk away, okay? He would just remove himself from the situation. He wouldn't even tell me, like nothing. He would just like walk up and go. And I feel like that was very disrespectful, because we are in the middle of something, we're trying to understand one another, yet you're just going away and like dropping me like a hot potato. Like, what's going on here? But let's remember that we as human beings, we all react different. And again, I was in that situation in my past. I would just probably remove myself immediately rather than going into long conversation. So just because I'm like this now and I have this need to explain and just this need to go through this and then understand another human being, not everybody is like this. Many times he said, if I would stay, I would say something that's going to be very hurtful and I really don't want to do it. So I would rather remove myself from that situation. And as soon as he said that, I was like, wow. You know, wow. Although I was still pushing for that contact in that moment, it does make sense, okay? From one way, I said to him that when you do this, I feel like you're just leaving me. I feel abandoned. I just don't feel good in the moment. And I've noticed that, you know, I'm trying hard to understand him and he's trying hard to understand me. A lot of the times he would solve problems logically and I would solve them emotionally. So not everything that is problematic is toxic. There is also a small disclaimer here that some things, some behaviors are toxic and they should never be normalized. Okay, remember that. Number 4 is communicating the feelings rather than judging or attacking. Some of us, we are queens of passive-aggressive situations and attacks and tricks. So sometimes we just say things rather than saying, hey, I'm feeling this. This is just the way I feel. Maybe it's nothing to do with you. This situation makes me feel that way. But we are saying, oh, you never take me out. You know, like every time when I ask you, you never do that. And I can tell you 10 million examples of when I attacked my husband and 10 million other scenarios when I said something that was just right and he listened and he got that positive experience from me, rather than feeling like he's on the verge of being attacked by me. I feel like our feminine strength is not very loud. It's quite calm and silence, and when we say something that is very feminine way, he will listen. The guy that gave you his name, his money, his house, he's sharing everything, he's as most vulnerable as he can with you. Why would he treat you with disrespect? Why would he do something to hurt you on purpose? He probably wouldn't. But when you're attacking him, he feels like he needs to defend himself. But when you're just expressing your feelings, sometimes it can be uncomfortable for him, It can be uncomfortable to hear that you are feeling like this because of him. But that's why it's very important to communicate that, rather than saying it's your fault, you did that, I'm feeling like shit because of you. Just say like, this situation that just happened, it makes me feel very uncomfortable, or that situation sort of remind me of how it used to be, and I really don't want to feel like this ever again. Communication is not about the winning, it's not about who won that conversation and who is on top. It's about understanding one another and why certain situation makes you feel the way you did. Technique number 5, keep your own life. I've seen so many of my friends after they've moved in with the guy. I've done that too. Hello, who didn't? We just sort of leave everything and we treat him as he's our best friend, our only friend. He's our father, he is our trusted solicitor, he's our best sort of girlfriend. We treat him as he's everything, and he can sense it and he can feel it, and the more you give that energy towards him, the more he's gonna push back and stay away, and he will need his own space. And it's not even about the fact that you are together all the time, because obviously like maybe you're going to work, maybe he probably has to go to work. It's all about, are you thinking about him all the time? Are you checking his messages? Are you asking him how you're feeling? And how, when you mentally have him there all the time, he's gonna get tired. People can feel it, people can sense it. When you have your own thing to do, like when I do anything outside of the house, volleyball, dancing, seeing my friends, anything, I'm completely shutting down. Like, I'm in the moment, okay? I want to look my friend in the eye and just like ask her that important question. I want to listen to her story. When I'm playing volleyball, like this is the only thing I can think of. He doesn't exist in that moment. Like he just doesn't. When I'm coming back towards him, I want him to feel that he's listened and he's visible and he's very valuable to me. My parents understood this very well, maybe even too well, because my father was, a lot of times he was working abroad or different countries, so they had a lot of time apart, and when they did come back towards each other, the love was blossoming and the love was always there, and they always like wanted one another, and there was a lot of passion between them. However, in any normal situation, when somebody doesn't work far away, and I wouldn't like that, I would not like my husband to be far away just because we're gonna have a passion romance. I believe you can really create it even when you live together and work together. Some couples do. I don't think I could do that. Maybe, who knows? At the moment, I just don't feel this is possible. And they can really stay still passionate, still everything is there. They just know how to shift, and they know how to use the energies and thoughts in the right way. Growth outside of the relationships is super important, okay? Your skills, your books that you read, things that you watch, anything that you do, as you, it's super important, and it's always gonna give that good feeling towards the second person. Everybody wanna feel that they are not dependent on the other person. So even if you're staying at home, wife, working, yes, you are dependent financially on him in that moment, because that's what you discuss. Don't feel like you need to overgive, and don't think like you need to overplease just because of that, because he's also getting something in return. He has very clean house, he has his meals cooked, he doesn't have to order something every day. You are there when it comes to taking your children to the GPs, he doesn't have to take time off, you're dealing with a lot of different things, so he has things in return. You can just focus on you and don't feel guilty about it. Number 6 is observe patterns, not moments. And patterns in relationships, usually they're very important, because somebody can have a stressful day, or maybe even a stressful week, or it can even take a month. Okay, I don't know, parents has passed away, something is really bothering you financially, a lot of things gonna happen. So sometimes you just need to give each other a space. But if you observe a pattern, then sometimes it's time to talk about it and say, hey, I can see you always doing that, and I feel like this is very disrespectful for me. I don't feel good about the situation, how we can change it. If his dismissal of your feelings, if he just always ignore you when you want to talk about something, when something's bothering you, there are a lot of different things that man can be disrespectful, and you need to say, hi, listen, I'm here, okay? And my feelings are important and they need to be valued, and I need to talk to you. And I want you to talk to me about it. So don't judge your relationship by moments, inconsistent moments, but try to judge it based on the patterns that are happening. Number 7 is, oh my God, repair after the situation. Try to repair it and don't just let the things to go away. This is more like my husband, we argue, something happened, he pretends nothing happened. And sometimes there are sort of moments when you can just let it go. You don't have to overshare it and over saying and over giving. That's another video that I will do probably next week. But for now, I want you to know that you can't always put everything under the rug and pretend like nothing has happened. If there was a really heated moment, something that was bothering you, believe me that if you're gonna stuck, if that sort of energy just gonna stuck somewhere inside your body, he's gonna feel it, you're gonna feel it, you're not gonna be able to open up, you're gonna think about it, you won't be the same pleasure, fun girl or woman that he had next to him. He will sense that something is going on. But of course, again, going back to my first or second point, just try to explain it with confidence, try to explain it with acceptance. Don't try to disrespect him by saying you always do, you always this, and you did that to me, you're shit. Don't say anything like that. Just say this situation just makes me feel very uncomfortable. That is the best thing that you can do. Sometimes I would just leave it for a day or two, and when I see that my husband is not coming back to me, I would wait for the good moment. Sometimes it's very important to wait for a good moment for him, so he's not thinking about his work, or he's not in the middle of something, I don't know, he's watching his favorite TV show and you're just like, hey, I need to talk to you right now. Then he won't be that acceptance towards you, and he won't be happy about it. So just try to, or maybe say, listen, I need a few minutes, I need some time to talk to you. There was something that really bothered me. When do you have time? I don't know why we sort of expect, and I'm guilty of this, that just because you live with somebody, you always believe that the right moment is now and here. No, it's not. And I even notice now that sometimes I just really don't want to talk about something. This is not the right moment for me. And when he want to say, I'm like, listen, babe, can we just discuss it another time? I really don't feel like I want to discuss that. But make sure that you just don't drop it. You will come back to that conversation sooner or later. Maybe set the date. Maybe say, hi, how about we're going to talk about it tomorrow? It's Friday, I had a very bad week and I'm just not emotionally in a good moment. Let's talk about it on Sunday after church, whatever it is. Set the date set the date and think about what you want to say in a respectful way. Because when you repair, it builds trust. A lot of our very heated moments and fights and situations actually made us stronger. And because we had those moments, I felt like in a very short time, we had a lot of trust towards one another. Because if I would be just pretending everything's fine, yeah, okay, honey, no problem. That was sort of my mom advice that she gave me, believe it or not. She said, in the first 2 years, don't never fight with him. Always say yes, honey, and then let him fall in love with you and then say what you want. But I was like 2 years pretending somebody who I'm not, just because he might fall in love with me. Like, what is this? I don't know, like some people probably live like this, and especially women, we always feel like we don't want to give people problems, we don't want to stir the pot, and sometimes we have to, because when things happen, he's not going to learn after 2 years. If you would allow for something to happen for 2 years straight, and then you're going to be like, right, 2 years gone, now we can now I'm going to tell you everything what I've been thinking of for the past 2 years. Like, this is hell too late. And that's what I said to my mother. She was over 35 years in her relationship, and after 30 years she told me that she had some issues. She had some emotional traumas, and she had some thoughts. Rather than saying to my father, she was saying this to me. I was 20 something back then, and believe me, even though I tried to help her, she was my mom, and it was super hard to listen to all the stories that she told me. I would rather her to sit with my dad and say this to my dad rather than said it to me. So I don't want that to happen to you, because when something is too late, it's too late. Okay? When you put the pattern there and you said, you can treat me in that way or you can treat me in that way, don't be so surprised that after a year or 2 or 3, whatever is your timeline, you're gonna be like, hey, I actually don't like that. You're gonna be like, what's wrong with you? You never said that. Like, you never told me you don't like this thing. So let's remember that dating is just chemistry and living together is real life. And not everyone's gonna stay regulated, kind, charming all the time. The honeymoon phase fading is not the end of your love. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning to experience the beauty, the real relationship. You're gonna see him in his real skin, how he actually is. And you will be yourself as well. So this is when the maturity begins, when you can really respect and understand and accept yourself, and you're gonna do this to another human being. With self-respect, high standards, and emotional maturity, your relationship will thrive no matter what. So let's subscribe and let me know whether you are still in your dating phase, your honeymoon phase, or maybe you're actually over that and you already know what I'm talking about and you've already seen the ugly heads that did show at some point. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.